Hello guys, Daniel here and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So in our previous video we spoke about market structure. Today we are going to talk about BMS. In other words, it's called breaking market structure. Okay, so we're just going to define BMS and we're going to enter into the chart to examine some things about what the BMS. Okay, so BMS, also known as what break of structure or into bracket BOS, is a technical price action signal that confirms the continuation of an existing market trend when the price breaks or closes beyond a recent swing high or swing low. So for instance, if the market is giving you higher highs and higher lows, okay, higher highs and higher lows, okay, when price breaks this point, we call this a break of structure or a break in market structure. Do you understand? So the last time I just drew stuff. Okay, so today I'm gonna go into the chart and then I'm gonna look out for some of these things that tend to happen consistently in the market. Okay, so we are currently on BTC USD. We are on the BTC USD pair. Okay, so let's just go into the chart and then let's take a look at something. Okay, now currently within this region, okay, of the chart, you can see that the market is in a continuous uptrend. How can we tell that it's in a continuous uptrend? Because one, price keeps breaking towards the upside. So we have one over here. This is a break of structure. Okay. There's another over here. There's another break of structure. Okay. There's one here. There is another here. And so on and so forth. Then the cycle just keeps continuing. Do you understand? The cycle just keeps on continuing. You understand? So in this market trend, you can notice that once price broke this structure, okay, it came back to retest and then broke structure again. But for this one, it did not come back to retest its other block back. It pulled back for a bit, went up, broke this particular high, swing high, came back to retest the zone, and then kept going again, broke this level, came back to retest, went, broke this level, came back to retest, and then it kept on going. Do you understand? That's basically how the BMS is, okay? And that is basically one of the ways that people are able to catch trades when the market is continuing its existing trend. Do you understand? So if I'm in the market and I'm observing on the higher time frame that the market is giving me consistent breaks of structure to the upside, I'll be looking for price to break and then retest my zones where I'll be looking to take trades. Do you understand? I'll just keep on looking to see if the market will break the swing high, look for my zones, and then wait for price to come and retest my zone so that I can take my trades and then swing towards the upside. Okay, that is how you protect yourself from making losses. You trade with the trend. There's this saying, the trend is always a friend. You understand? Yeah, but you can only make the trend your enemy when you trade against it. You understand? Because the bigger players, the banks, the institutions, the firms, the funds, they are always trading in the direction of the trend. They move the market. So you just observe the waves where the market is going, then you follow it. Do you get it? Yes. So in this instance, this is just base of structure towards the upside in an uptrend. Now, in a downtrend, the same thing happens, just as the opposite. All right. So you can see we have a higher time frame break of structure here, right? Then there's a lower low, lower high. Then price breaks this points too. So let me just label it so that you can see what's happening. So here, for instance, there's another BMS, right? There's another BMS over here too. Good. There's a tiny one somewhere here. Because you can see that once it broke, price came to retest this area and then it went down again. And there's another one. So there are instances whereby you may get retests. There are instances whereby you may not get retests. That's normal. So when there's a retest, It gives you the opportunity to capitalize on that by looking for entries on the smaller time frames. We've not gotten there yet, but then when we get to that point, we shall look into it on how to take entries or take trades on the smaller time frames. Yeah, but until then, just keep following. Then there's another BMS over here. So the first example we did was on the bullish trend, okay? Because the market was in an uptrend. Then these ones that we are doing are for a bearish market, so that it won't be like I'm biased to, just one side of, the trend. So we have another one over here, BMS, another one, EMS, and then it keeps on going. You understand? So for instance, over here you can see that when price did this thing, kept on selling, it broke structure over here, came back to test the zone around this region. Okay. Mind you, keep in note, mind you, because this is a higher time frame, you may not necessarily take your entries on the higher time frame just yet, just because you're on the higher time frame and you saw an opportunity. If we take a trade entry on the higher time frame, just because you've drawn the zone, you're going to have a big stop loss. Do you understand? And sometimes your equity may not be enough to be able to hold the drawdown or the floating loss, because price may not instantaneously move into your direction and take into profit. Do you understand? Yes. So anytime you draw your BMSs and then you get a retest of an order block or zone, you need to be patient and then go into the smaller time frame to see how you're going to capitalize on getting an entry over there. To comprehend? Right. So you can see that once we had a break of structure over here, price did not immediately pull back. It just kept continuing the order flow. Do you understand? The order flow is just, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, that kind of vibe. It gave us a new lower low, a lower high. Price broke the structure, went back to retest its order block. Okay. And then what? It's reversed and sold from here. Created a new lower low, lower high, lower low, broke structure, retested the zone again, and then what? It kept going just like that. So there are instances whereby you may be forced to um take trades whereas there are no trades. You shouldn't do it. Do you understand? For instance, here, since price didn't pull back to our zone, you won't be looking to take a trade again. Just leave it as it is. If the market gives you a break of structure and then it comes back to your zone and it's really clear for you to take a trade, you do that. You understand? So basically, this is how the BMS is like. Okay, this is basically how the BMS is like. I don't know if I'll see more examples. I mean, the market, there's always opportunities in the market. So let's see if I'll get one which is clearer and simple. Okay, this is BTG. Let's go on gold and let's see if we'll find something there. Okay, okay. So this is gold, right? So there's one over here. Breakout structure. Another breakout structure, right? So there's one, two here. Right, you can see that when price broke this level, it went up, came down, broke again, another BMS right here. Then price retests its zone, the zone that began the move that broke the structure, and then what, it sells off again. Then it breaks this current levels structure again, another BMS or basically POS. Then what does it do? It retests this point. It grab liquidity though, but that's also a reason. And the reason why you grab it was like there's almost something like equal highs over here. You understand? So price needs to just break the liquidity and then give you a change of character before you can look for a trade opportunity. That's in the next couple of videos that we'll be recording. Okay, pardon me, sometimes it happens like that when I'm speaking. Yes, so in the next few videos I'll be recording, you see the entry criteria in there. Then you can see that there's also another one over here, another BMS. Okay, good. Then there's one, two here, like this. There's another one over here. So we have another BMS over here. And this is the order block. Price does this thing around here. And then what? It drops. Do you get it? It drops. So kindly, this is the break of structure on the chart. Okay, this is basically the break of structure on the chart itself from the higher time frame scale. You understand? So in our next video, I may delve into the smaller time frame and then talk about order blocks. Okay, these little zones that you see that I've been drawing where you can catch trade opportunities is what we call the order blocks. Okay, so in our next video, we look at how we can use order blocks. We'll actually understand what order block is, and then we'll look at how to use order blocks to take our trade entries. All right. Yeah. So I believe the little we've done in this short video is quite understandable and clear. Please, if you don't understand anything, you just drop questions in my comment section. Okay. And then if there's anything that I need to, talk about or share with you or discuss or try and answer, I'll do that in the comment section, or I may release more videos and then, share them with you so that you can understand whatever it is that you need to understand. All right. So God bless you all. Thank you for joining and subscribing to my channel. And then see you in the next video. All right. Bye.